Anti-Zionism has no place within the J Street big tent.
Absolutely. People who aren't comfortable being pro-Israel are not part of the J Street consensus.
My fear is, being a professor and working on college campuses my entire career, I've seen the face of the anti-Israel movement, and it is entrenched, and it is large, and I feel it is completely unreasonable. I'm talking about the hardcore anti-Zionist, anti-Israel movement. My fear for J Street is you, not because you wanted to, you somehow emerge as useful idiots for folks that really don't have Israel's concerns in mind, and you become the blocking back for various anti-Israel forces, which I repeat, in the academy at least, are very, very well organized and very intent on achieving their goal.
I'll tell you, we've used the blocking back analogy as well.
With Obama, right.
But for President Obama,
exactly,
who I think is a strong pro-Israel leader and really wants to do what hasn't been done out of the White House anytime recently, which is show some serious leadership in bringing these parties together. Again, I think there are people out there who like that there's a J Street because they think it's not pro-Israel, but they are wrong. It's clear, it's unequivocal. Those people who have anti-Israel goals, who are anti-Zionist, do not have a happy home at J Street.
So you quickly disabuse them of the idea that this might be a base of operations.
Absolutely. You know, we had, I believe, 2 women there who were, affiliated with Code Pink. They shared their opinions at sessions. They were not on panels. We didn't, they paid, they registered, they came to the conference. They're welcome to share their opinion. That doesn't make it our opinion. And we were quite clear that it is not our opinion.
Okay. What puzzled some in the aftermath of the conference was the Goldstone report, and I believe it was actually your comment that you refused to either condemn or embrace the Goldstone report. I'm pretty ready to condemn. Tell me why you weren't ready to condemn the Goldstone report.
Well, there's a couple different issues. There's the Goldstone report, and there's the resolution in the United Nations, and then there was the congressional resolution. The 3 are different. I was talking at the time, I believe, about the congressional resolution, and our opinion on that was, in fact, in that middle ground, which, in Washington is relatively typical. We said we did not support it. That is different than opposing it. We did not urge members of Congress to vote no. We didn't urge our members to rally in opposition to it. And the reason for that was that the bottom line of that congressional resolution called for the U.S. to work against any one-sided biased resolutions coming out of the United Nations in relation to Israel. And we agree with that. And we think that the resolution that came out of the Human Rights Council was biased and one-sided, and the U.S. should work against it. So we agreed with that bottom line.
But we always speak about unity in the Jewish community. It seems to me the theoretical possibility has at least been raised that on some substantive issues, there's a lot of daylight between what American Jews believe and what the majority of Israelis believe, which I think would be ultimately sad for Judaism, but maybe it's true. Do you think it's true?
Do I think it's true? I think the possibility has been raised, for sure. I also think, and J Street recognizes, there are also times where there are American interests that may not coincide with those of a specific Israeli policy or a specific Israeli government. And that does create tensions sometimes. In terms of unity, I mean, that's a big question that people ask about J Street in general. Should there be another voice? Should we just have this, what I would call a mythical one voice in support of Israel? I don't think there's one voice and one opinion in the Jewish community on any issue.
Sometimes I wonder if dialogue is always good. And one of the tendencies in the world Jewish community has been for Jews to keep their disagreements, and we have many because we're Jews after all, to keep their disagreements under wraps. So I'm just laying out the possibility that maybe talking, with no G, talking about all our differences as Jews, sometimes it's not in our best interests as Jews. Or would you categorically disagree with that?
I think I would disagree. I also think there's a difference between dialogue and differing opinions. I do think dialogue is good, and dialogue probably does take place quietly. Now, quietly, I think, should be within our Jewish institutions and within our public life. But there's also a difference.
My father will say, well, these are conversations that Jews should have amongst themselves. We can't share these with the outside world because we have so many enemies. The older you get, the more you kind of see the logic of that. Should the younger generation change the nature of the conversation about Judaism?
Well, there is certainly an interesting generational piece to J Street, and we discussed it at the conference, that there are those who, have lived through, not so many 48 anymore, but 67 and 73 and other moments where, the existential crisis and the issue of we must all be a unified voice in supporting Israel. And you have many people who are younger, who didn't live through those, where they don't feel that existential threat on the day-to-day. And if they do feel an existential threat, what they think that threat is a continued occupation and a continued Palestinian-Israeli crisis that doesn't let Israel develop fully and peacefully.
I was a little chagrined to notice that you did not insist that folks associated with J Street U refer to themselves as pro-Israel and pro-peace. Why not? Why couldn't they be pro-Israel and pro-peace, and you'd make that an absolute condition of being a member of the J Street U
group?
Well,
being pro-Israel is an absolute condition of being a member of the J Street U group. Using the tagline pro-Israel, pro-peace, which J Street proudly does, is not something that J Street U has adopted. That's not a policy statement or a core belief. Right? That's a bumper sticker. J Street uses that statement. We believe in it very deeply. J Street U does have the same baseline policies. It is a pro-Israel organization. Whether they want to use that phrase or not is entirely up to them. It's actually up to the individual campus communities whether they want to use the phrase. But in the definition of what the organization is, it is a pro-Israel organization.
Tell us where J Street is going to be 3 to 5 years from now.
That's a good question. It's a big part of what I'm working on right now is really bringing our different bodies, our different areas of activity together into an integrated political plan. You know, my hope is that 3 to 5 years from now, J Street is working close with the Israeli government, working close with the American government and the Palestinian Authority on actualizing a peace agreement. That's what I would like to see. That's what I think we desperately, desperately need in the region. I think President Obama is working toward that. And I believe that leadership in the region wants to see that. Whether they're always willing to take the difficult steps, and they are difficult, but to take those steps that we need to get there, I think remains an open question. But I certainly hope to see us there in 3 to 5 years.
All right, Hadar Susskind, I wish you well. Bring us that good voice for progressive, liberal, mainstream Jews, and I think J Street will have performed a mitzvah for the Jewish community. Thank you so much for appearing on Faith Complex.
Thank you.
Join us next time when we talk to Michael Goldfarb, the online editor of the Weekly Standard.